uh, thank you for joining us for this
Got it.
very special occasion. My name is Ashok and I'm your president for the Rotary Club of Rochester. It is my honor to get us started this afternoon with a four-way test. Before the four-way test, and before you take more bites there, Larry, we just want to pause and be present for each other. Go ahead and take 3 nice deep breaths. That's a lung doctor I recommend continuing to breathe easy.
I can't hear him very well. Can you? Okay.
Okay, so for our visitors and special guests, I think everyone here knows each other, so that'll be a little easier today. I just remind us that Rotary's motto is service above self, and that we are here in fellowship and in curiosity of how we can create hope and build positive peace. It's also my honor to know that in our club, our mission is to inspire each other in ways that our contributions improve the lives of the communities we connect with locally and globally. So for our four-way test, if you are able, can you stand for a moment and speak as close as possible to microphone? So for the four-way test, of the things we think, say, or do, first,
Is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
In our district, we also have a fifth. Will it be fun? And will it build positive peace? Thank you. And as you enjoy the rest of your meal, just remember, as a lung doctor, I recommend you don't aspirate. Don't do extra work. For the reflection and invocation, I just wanted to remind the group of our code of conduct. And this is something Mariana, she will also remind us. But as Rotarians, we will act with integrity and high ethical standards. We will deal fairly and respectfully with others and their occupations. We will use our professional skills through Rotary to mentor each other and young people, help those with special needs, and provide people's quality of life locally and around the world. We aspire, especially in these days of polarization and regionalization globally, to help maintain a harassment-free environment with mutual respect, equity, diversity, inclusion, and a real true sense of belonging. I think what our club hopefully aspires each of us to do, as I've learned from Lee Johnson over his 40 years and more when he was last president, is that our membership into Rotary invites us to become part of a really extended family. So it is sibling of sorts, brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, and seven generations that I hope continue to follow the values that Rotary aspires to. Our theme this year was create hope in the world. And as Dr. Gordon McKinley reminds us, when we nurture peace, hope comes around. We offer opportunities for each other, and then we help heal the world in ways that are lasting and sustainable. I found another creative moment when I thought hope also stands for healthy organizations that are purposefully engaged. And I think if you consider organization, including our club, as a living breathing organism, we actually have the capacity as individuals to really have a collective impact as a growing, learning, and inspiring organization. So consider hope, healthy organization with that are purposefully engaged at the club level, at the district level, and international. With that, I'd like to pause. Are there any other guests or new people, John? We have the very special privilege, thanks for reminding me, John, inviting our district governor, Patricia McLeese, who's also an amazing friend and mentor and coach, to come up here and give us a special presentation. District Governor Patricia.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly my honor to be here. We are going to recognize one of your members. John Woodroof has generously donated to the Rotary Foundation. And John would come down for me. Where's John? Oh. Yeah. There he is. And John, you stand right here because you're in the spotlight. You're in the spotlight. And face them so we can talk about you. Because I've got to tell you a little story. There are several in your club who are Triple Crown donors. And Tom User is on the district level and has been calling people. There are 3 criteria: Paul Harris Society, major donor, and request. And so he's been busy calling people that had 2 of those 3 items already satisfied. And so he called John and he said, John, you're a Paul Harris Society, you're already a major donor. How about the request society? And so John very thoughtfully said, I'll think about it. And he did. And he came back and he said, well, why should I wait, or why should the Rotary Foundation wait for money when I can just give it now? And so he gave his request to the Rotary Foundation in advance. And so now he's not only a major donor level 3, he's also advanced to a major donor level 4. And because that was a request idea, he is now going to be joining 39 other Rotarians in District 5960 as a Triple Crown donor for the 2023 to 2024 year. I just had to say all that, John. Yeah. But and I want to be sure I don't miss anything from this little speech. But I want to thank you very sincerely for your contribution, because your generosity from it good comes out. You give money to people you don't know. You don't know how they look. You don't know their stories. You don't know where they are. You don't even know their need. But because of your generosity, people are being helped. Lives are improved. Not only, and we all benefit from that generosity, for their community being more peaceful, as well as it resonates around the world. So, and also you're an inspiration for others to give, not only monetarily, but of your time and your talents. It is really wonderful. I don't know, how do you say thank you to someone who has touched the world? In recognition of your wonderful project, in recognition of donating, the Rotary Foundation can do more work through the wonderful clubs who do the work for doing the grants. And there's one thing in here it says that what you have demonstrated is through your generous act that all fellow human beings are worthy of our compassion. Your act of kindness is the seed of hope, and this hope then blooms and blossoms into peace, and that is what will yield returns around the world. So if you would please join me in standing as we recognize Thank you, John. And this beautiful, it is for John and Virginia. So John, why don't you go over that, because it's for John and Virginia. And of course, we have a pin, and we have to, might as well put it on. You got it. And it has 4 diamonds in it, and it even has a little tickling thing coming down.
You can put it on yourself.
And then we have, these certificates. So maybe you should get a picture and we can load it up with everything. Yeah, yeah. That's you?
Sure. I don't know. It's not that long.
It's not like that.
No, I heard it. There.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, District Governor Patricia. I'd now like to invite Dr. Mariana Gonzalez Trevino to share a little bit more about exciting version 2 of our mentoring pilot project that she's carrying on. So,
I'm sorry, I'm late.
While Mariana is getting set up, I just want to take a moment to remind all of you that we have hired a club administrator, and Kirsten Taylor is in our presence, and we'll be starting actively. She's onboarding right now, which will start on August 1st.
Yes.
Welcome, Kirsten. We'll do a member highlight soon with details.
Oh, no, it's okay. Okay, so.
I think you may have to share the.
Yeah. Zoom.
Yes. Yes. Well, as the report now, this is Mariana. I just joined the 12 this last April, and I'm currently trying to develop the second iteration of the mentorship program along Audrey, Dr. Patel, Paul, and 4 other members of the club that you can see in the spreadsheet we just delivered to you. So this program or this mentorship program is like the first version, or the first time it happened was last year. And I was a mentee of this program, and that being part of the program was a very big factor of why I decided to eventually join the club. So I'm very excited to present this program to you. Next one, please. So first, to talk a little about the mission of the mentorship program for young professionals. It is initially to increase the participation of young community members in community service activities. Second, and this is like a very big, important factor we want to implement on this version of the program, is to promote the first mentoring that it usually happens naturally when you have a dialogue with someone else. Both learn from each other, but now we really want to like stress that mentees can also teach mentors, and develop interpersonal and communication skills from both mentors and mentees. And we think that by developing this activity that I will later explain to you, we will promote humanity, kindness, justice, persistence, curiosity, humility, and gratitude in both the mentor and the So just talking about specific goals, we want to have 3 main events. And we will try to promote that both like the mentor and the teacher will divide themselves as they fit depending on their schedules. And this 3 main event will be the first one, like a launching meeting, where we will present the mentor with its mentee and like just form the pair. And we would like to have a visiting speaker talking here. We were thinking about Edgar, who was the first mentee after all. And if you have any other ideas of anyone you think would be like a good speaker, we will appreciate your input. We would like the mentee to pick a goal that is a smart goal, like something that can be measurable and that is realistic. And the goal that the mentee picks, like the mentor will try to help the mentee to reach the goal by the end of the year or their program. And the mentor and mentee pair will have to pick a volunteering activity, like just one day that they will perform together as a pair. And then we'll have a second meeting that will be volunteering as a group, or like the whole cohort of mentors and peers, the committee and organizers. I was thinking like maybe trip plenty, but as well as you have any other ideas of volunteering activities that we can all go ahead and do as a group, we're open to your suggestions. And the third and last meeting we'll do as a group is a summer picnic, in the Soldiers Field Park, where we'll share. I was thinking like just our local cuisine, like everyone can bring something, we can all share food, and we will talk about the volunteering activities that each mentor mentee picked up, and what is like the status of the goals and mentee taking the first meeting and see if there was like progress or what happened with that goal, just to give a little bit of closure of what we started. And as I mentioned, aside from this, the mentor and mentee pairs are expected to meet between them as they see fit, depending on their schedules, to further develop the mentorship relationship. And why is this program important for our club? Dr. Patel suggested, and I think that it aligns with both the Rotary Code of Conduct and the Rotary Club of Rochester Action Plan. Speaking about the Code of Conduct specifically, we know that as Rotarians we need to use our skills to mentor young people and help those with special needs and improve quality of life. So it's directly related to the program. And talking about the Rotary Club of Rochester Action Plan, our program is as well directly addressing the first goal, that is to create an environment that facilitates fellowship, mentorship, and fun. But I do think that also indirectly is supporting goal 2 and 3, because by doing the volunteering activities we're planning to do and developing or helping to develop like emotional intelligence and soft skills for both mentors and mentees, it will increase the likelihood of them to further engage in community activities that will help reach goal 2 and goal 3. So this is like just a brief snapshot of what the program will be, and I don't know if you have any questions or suggestions. I will also deliver the it's for you to take a look, and please let me know if there's anything you'd like to know. We're also including mentors, so if anyone is interested, please let me know, or Dr. Patel know, and we'll be happy to deliver more information about the program. I can how you say I can provide one, so if you wanna sign up, we can start right now.
Will there be a little article in the Moccasin File about this and some directions about, because we have people who aren't here today, who are here. It's on Zoom, but other people read the Moccasin Flower.
Okay.
So
Put it in the newsletter. That's a great idea. Wonderful. Okay, yes. I can program you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana, that was fantastic, and reverse mentoring is really true. I learn every day from all my young daughters, and they teach me so much about life, where I thought initially, when I was a younger parent, I was teaching them about life, so keep going.
It's the direction.
Yes. Thank you. We have one more announcement, and that's from Marilyn, who isn't able to join us today because she's getting some personal health taken care of. And she wanted to remind us that volunteers for Cook for Kids, which is a Jeremiah program, prioritizing how we as Rotarians can support our community and build the relationships to the families at Jeremiah program. We've done this before. She's looking for volunteers for Tuesday, September 19th. Between 4 and 4:15 is when the food will be received and delivered. And then if you're able to stay for the program, she'll have an activity sign up. So I think, Lori, that'll go out in the next moccasin flyer as well. So think about September 19th, if you save that date, it's a Tuesday. And we can team up in terms of dropping off food or participating in the actual family event at the facility. Any other questions or any other announcements? We did birthdays and joint anniversaries last time, so we'll save that for this very special guest speaker that's presenting today. All right, well, it's my pleasure to introduce myself. Thank you so much. This is a very special occasion, and Vicki, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share what I think is a wonderful expedition and adventure into the international side of Rotary. And just imagine how much fun we're having at the level of family building and peace building at our local level, and magnify that by over 14,000 attendees in Melbourne, Australia, late May this year. So with that, so I really don't want to take this as a prescription for how to have success and joy in your life, but I'll just share my lens and know that 14,000 other people will love to share their story of transformation as they arrived after jet lag in a remote location and experienced Rotary International. So the three messages I'd love for you to leave today's session with are, first of all, how to experience a major forum such as Rotary Convention. And the theme for this year's event was imagine what's next. And then learn how to build house friendship or use tools. And I would really encourage all of us to get to one of these conventions in the near future if you're interested in learning more about the global reach and the impact Rotary has in lives around the world. And the third is just to be reaffirmed that what we do locally and in living and breathing, Rotary's core values of fellowship, diversity, leadership, service really matters. And we can do a lot to leverage that with funds and activities, as I'll show you next. So I have to say thank you to a lot of people, all of you for sure. I started with Judy O'Fallon and Michael Fallon in Galleria in 2005. And while they were ringing bells for Salvation Army as one of our volunteer projects, I must have made some comment that compelled them to say, I think you've got the heart of a Rotarian. And they said, why don't you sign up? So 2005 was when I started. But, you know, we added technology with virtual club orientations. Bill Richter, I was so glad he gave me these little runners to remind me that when July comes around, I need to hit the ground running. I almost hit the ground with a helmet, but I think hitting the ground and running with your feet on can only be done if you have a safe environment and a place to practice, and then you out to practice. And finally, we've been around a while as Rotary, so the gifts of tradition, as well as the inspiration from, as Mariana was saying, the next generation to say, how should we shape the future? Are trying to be captured on all these different Rotary pins that represent the themes of the presidents over the years, at least since 1960 there. So we started on May 25th from Minneapolis, and then went around the world, literally, through LA and Fiji, and we arrived in Fiji at midnight, and we crossed the international date line. So by the time we arrived in Melbourne, and we were half awake to see this on the 27th. So we basically dropped the day somewhere in there. We were greeted by prepared global leaders. So Jennifer Jones in the green. Tom Dunk has posted this on his Facebook page. So I was trying to get prepared for what I was getting into. And then this vision statement of how Rotary's network spans the globe, bridges barriers, and shares a vision for a better world. And it came right from the airport where we were greeted with hospitality and smiles. So May 28th, after we arrived and we got oriented, we went to where the Australian Open is held. It was converted from a tennis arena to a welcome center for 14,000 Rotarians. And we had good food, slept well, met with a lot of kindness and all the things that Mariana just mentioned, what we want to do with our mentoring program. So this is the high level. On the 29th, we were networking. We heard from inspiring leaders on peace initiative, a Nobel Peace Prize winner from Liberia. We heard about 100 million refugees that were part of our global challenge to try to meet the needs of special populations and at-risk vulnerable populations. And then we celebrated the Interactors 60th anniversary, and then the Rotaractors were there too. And Tuesday, more of the same, except this time we got to build our confidence as president-elects and have a lunch together with Dr. Gordon McKinley and our fellow club members, so Gail Baker, Patricia, and we had a really nice evening with district level meet and greet, which Catherine, Megan, and Christy also really enjoyed. Next. And finally, we had to leave early for our side trip on Wednesday, but I took a picture from Facebook of what the closing ceremony was like, and you can see all these iPhones in the building, which again inspired the next theme, which was create hope in the world. So now just some quick pictures, which Laurie can certainly masterfully include in our future Club Runner events and anything she wants. This is not proprietary. There's the Rod Laver Arena, which we held. The two themes were reinforced. The families were present as the Rotary presidents and their clubs. One of the most memorable things was similar to the Olympics, a flag ceremony, and here you can just imagine over 200 countries represented, and including Canada, and all the people in the audience that were just taking it in and not coughing on each other and preventing super spreads. We had a really nice sequence. We honored the space by an indigenous a storyteller, followed by the mayor of Melbourne, and in that city, the mayor has a lot of other creatures, their pronouns, so right honorable lord, in addition to mayor. The Global Citizen Group, which raised $43 billion around the world for its project, partnered with Rotary and is trying to address common challenges to health, education, economy, racial, climate, and hunger strategies. And then I had friends who are Rotarians in the UK that joined us there, and it was really fun to see them. We hadn't seen each other at least for about 2 years. So some more pictures. It was just a really a joy to be part of it. We talk about scalability of projects, and they still ring a bell to start the event, and we keep the tradition going at our club. I love the House of Friendship. There were over 200 individual showcases of different projects. I think the main takeaways were each team was trying to emphasize the ways we can connect, the ways we can mentor and inspire each other, the way we can be transformative, not in our own learning and self-awareness, but what we can do for others in our community, and how to measure that and then share that story. And finally, I think without getting too confident, how we can empower each other to be the best and live to our highest potential. There's a lot of organizations, so if you have ADHD or get lost with detail, and I don't like shopping, but you have lots of options and lots of groups that are willing to have you listen to their story, sign up for their fellowship program, and join an action group. On the second day, we heard from John Hinkle, who's the CEO of Rotary International, and why we should fund and support to Rotary Foundation. We heard from the SDG Impact Fund, which gives you visual details at the country level and at the UN level of how to prioritize and what to focus on. And there's still technology that's coming from AI and other places to visualize what impact we have as club members, as organizations, and as countries. And finally, a good friend from Minneapolis who went down to Illinois to work at headquarters, Amanda Ottman, we ran into each other. So up 14,000 when you're running across somebody that you know, and you weren't planning on it, it's a lot of fun too. So strategic partnerships to operational level solutions at mining, and then telling the individual story is kind of the way I organize this deck. The Nobel Peace Laureate, Leila Gbawi, was from Liberia. She is really a superstar and a champion for women's rights, for advocacy, and used her skills to innovate social solutions and empower both men and women in the country that she's passionate and part of. This is for Patricia, who I'm so glad you're here, but peace building should be part of our legacy, and community building is our pathway to peace. And I think I learned so much about a monument or a sculpture that was installed in Melbourne in honor of this peace building intention. And it's this 4 bells or 4 steps. And you can see how it applies to each of us. If you stand by the first bell and ring it, and you say to yourself, seek peace within, that's a good place to pause and just take care of yourself and your inner peace. The second, make peace at home, and whatever you want to call home, with your neighbor. If you're in unstable housing, if you still have something to call home, hopefully Rochester is home. Third, create peace in your community, and we try to do that. Knowing that conflict can be healthy if we frame it right and we learn from it. And finally, foster peace between peoples, between clubs and lands. I was also interested in what Rotary Post Friendship offers for global health and diplomacy, and we can spend all day there, but we won't. I just put a few ideas up here for us to consider if we apply. What does OP disaster resilience look like after COVID, and what does international security look like as we think about cybersecurity and the cultures that we're attracting to Rochester, to whether beyond healthcare. More pictures, the WASH project, which is water and sanitation. I met a good friend of Joanne Rosner's, who was leading the booth. But you can just see if we had enough momentum and story, maybe entering the one, we can help create a booth or contribute to a booth and showcase our work too. Shelter Box was there. It's a good package. And then finally, Lynn Keynes had asked me to go check in on the International Health Travel and Hospitality Group, and that's, you can sign up for about that group too. It was really they're very open and welcoming to join these different activities. Here's some more for Frank and Dave. The top left is International Scouting Rotarians. So I shared that with them your story of becoming a Cliff Doctorman awardee, and they said share this picture with you, Frank, and congratulate you on their behalf. They're the ones who sent you the information, by the way. The guy in the white shirt. We found some new friends from Vera Beach, the fellow in the bottom left. And he watches out of his backyard launches from Elon Musk and all of the Cape Canaveral, and including ones that didn't work. And so we learned a lot and connected. So again, Edgar's interested in astronaut training and other things, but this is a way we can connect anywhere in space in addition to on the ground. The middle picture there is very special. The moderators for our program were mother-daughter pair. The daughter was an old Raptor. The mom was Rotarian. And they did a really nice job from Iceland, sharing the story and hosting us in their traditions. The bottom right is a picture of all the people who signed up for wishing the interactors a happy 60th anniversary. And finally, concluding the event was the message of hope that inspired Dr. McKinley. We thought Rotary would be a place where if people feel hopeless, we can help restore just through our caring and our modeling of what it means to be human, what it means to be respected, and the dignity with which the hard work has to get done. And I put for the bottom right a shout out to Lori and all the hard work in resetting our webpage and our social media presence as we go forward. But Lori, that's a great banner. I think the color coordination is nice, and it even has the right color for the brand of the wheel that's on there. Keeps changing. So a little more informal, fun stuff. I really did feel like Patricia, Gail, the rest of the friends that we made and my family were just an extension of this wonderful movement, and really felt moved and inspired by all their different ways of connecting. So besides the business part and the justification for the investment in the trip, which Mayo also partly paid for, which is great. We had a lot of fun sampling different molecular gastronomical experiences, or just food. And we also went from Melbourne and intellectual property to veterinary medicine, and saw this area where kangaroos were just going in the wild, and we had this beautiful scenery on hikes, and petted a koala fed some kangaroos and wallabies, saw a lot of sheep. We also went on the Great Ocean Road and visited geologic and environmental models for recovery and sustainability. And on the way back, we spent time in Fiji, where I had some other relatives that look after the Burger King franchise, crowds at the duty free. So if you're, and we had the Hollywood's setup crew that was gonna do season 5, I think, of Love Island, from the US side. And, back up one. And then my relative, Garrett King, is also chairman of the board of the Fiji Times. And I took a copy of the book that they just launched from 2019, but because of COVID, we were delayed until now. And the Prime Minister of Fiji was there. They were into 150-year celebration and was thinking of days and what 100-year looks like in a year from now. But you could go to Fiji and do a site visit and get some ideas on that. But snorkeling is great. The island life is really an amazing ecotourism area, and we even have rainbows to kind of bring us home. So on the way back, I landed. I was back on call the next day, and I was still enjoying time in my mind, anyways, in our trip. But that weekend, we were writing policy and voting on resolutions that made better doctors at the American Medical Association event. And we were reminded at that event the importance of equity, the importance of advocacy, and the importance of well-being. And those are just some of the people that we met from the US side that champion healthcare and policy change within the North Central Medical Conference, which Minnesota is part of, and then the national organization. Jesse Ehrenfeld is the incoming president, and he's now installed as well. So president to president came true. He is from Wisconsin and is managing the office, so we could invite him as a speaker too at some point. And last. So again, you all know all these. It's just an honor and a pleasure to share this part of the journey with you. You bring out the best in all of us, and especially me. And I'm continuing to learn how to have fun while at the same time honor that formal test, especially telling the truth and making sure whatever we do builds goodwill, good peace, and better friendships. So thank you again for listening, for sharing, and for supporting my transformation as we get older. Any questions or comments?
Ashok, did you have the opportunity to participate in or listen to any discussion, comments on membership? Which ways it attended, anything special, anything related to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So was I participating in any topics about membership? And yes, I did. I actually did it 2 ways. One is experientially, just walking around and trying to figure out how I was being transformed. So that's what I think I tried to share today. But specifically, there's a great article that just came out in this month's Rotary magazine, which has to do with how the member experience at the club level matters. And the 3 biggest needs right now is 1, to reconnect. So we connect our passion with our purpose, and making sure when we show up and we try to ask why are we Rotarians, that we have a clear value-based proposition. And like most of us, we're really outward focused. So our answer isn't how do we build better passion and bring more people into our club. It's how do our existing members make an impact in our community that we can be proud of and we could live on with. So I think that was a theme and a message that was showing, how do we inspire each other to reveal our authentic purpose and why we became Rotarians. The second one would have to do with diversity and equity, and I think that for me really represented cultural humility. So not to prejudge any person that I met, but to really be open to learning and sharing. And there were so many great role models from all these different groups, but then just everybody met. And it seemed like everyone on the street after a while, like Thursday, Friday, they were all Rotarians, like whether they call themselves Rotary or not. So, and I think the third was really measurement. How do we measure impact so that it's not just a marketing thing, but we have measured that we're successful and this is what success looks like. And that challenge with SDG Impact Fund is calling us all out. When global companies advertise that they're number one, what does that really mean at the level of the patient experience or the person experience? And we have a lot of work to do, especially if we're fighting for equity and the voices of those without a voice. Patricia, would you add anything else specific?
The other thing that is being promoted are looking at our partnerships, that what we do, we don't do it alone. Another angle is to look at partnerships, so that when we do a service opportunity, who can we partner with? So that we can have more people involved. So it's not just Rotary, it's Rotary in the community. That's one thing. And then the other one is going to places and saying, okay, like maybe going to a corporation and saying, what are your values? What do you really want to do for the community? How can we help you get that done? You know, that's another way of going to organizations, so that you again are partnering. Now the hope is, and what has happened is that when people who are non-Rotarians in these other groups see the service and the passion of the club, then they're more likely to join. But that's one thing, that it's service and partnerships, and then also these companion. I mean, to look at your membership and say, well, what are the barriers to membership? And then look at ways that you can address those barriers. And one of it is that they don't want to come to meetings because they don't have time. Then why not have a service membership angle? They just started one at Stillwater Sunrise, and it's just called the service membership. And so it's a whole lot less than it would be if you remember, and all they do is service. And so that they can come to other events. Anyway, I think it's a way of stepping back and looking at what you're doing from a different angle. That's one of the things. And start, how diverse is your club? And I'm not talking about color, I'm talking about profession. And look at that, and gender and age. So if you can really target who you want, then that is, you can be much more intentional in what you do. One other thing, some of these strong clubs that I've been visiting, they have very, very clear expectations of their members. And it's all about engagement. So they may not come to the meeting where they have to be engaged with service. It's an expectation. And if, so I think that's one thing. I know my club, we don't have a really strong expectation of service, maybe you all do, but that I thought was a great idea. And these were really vibrant clubs.
Patricia, while you have the mic, would you want to, can you comment on your meet and greet? What did that look like to you, and the planning, and then the impact or the outcome that you were looking for?
Are you talking about the meet and greet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
with the
developers? Oh, and that was really fun, because well, you never know, you send out an invitation to everybody, you see who will come, but I mean, everyone came, and they either brought somebody, or they came in shifts, so I was there until like 8, because after you all left, but the meet and greet, what I got is, everyone just felt so inspired and refreshed. And I think that's the benefit of going to these big conventions, is that you see Rotary in a totally different way. It's so big. And it has so much potential for doing good, that even talking about it, I have goosebumps on my arms, because that's what we really want for those members who are, they don't see a value for Rotary. That's what these kind of conventions do. You see the breadth and the depth. And that's what I got from the people who came to that meet and greet. And everybody was really excited about going back and doing something a little different. Stepping back is the key, I think, stepping back and looking at the club.
Well, thank you. We're almost out of time. Any other last questions or comments? The next convention is in Singapore, and then the 2025 one is in Calgary. So I'll definitely get to the Calgary one. Dave, you're negotiating how to get there with Singapore. Good. So two items. I know there's a lot that we talked about today. There is a recording which Joseph has nicely captured. The presentation is available if you want a PDF of it. I'm willing to share. I'm always available, and I'm always eager to learn what you think and how we can make this conversation more universal, so that we can do it across organizations, across the community, as we partner and try to build a better and more peace-inspired community. I have two handouts or magazines that I want to bring to your attention. So this is all work that's done by lots of big brains and hearts. The one is called Positive Peace, which is put out by the Institute for Economics and Peace. And this is the group that is promoting within Rotary International the 8 pillars of peace. They've been adopted by, that model has been adopted by the Global Peace Fellows, and it's been part of their Global Peace Declaration 3.0. So if you want to learn more about how we can partner and synergize around this idea of peace fellowships and peace, that is a good framework. Obviously, it's a priority or a big theme for Patricia and our district this year, but there's a lot of good impact with that. The other is the Rotary magazine, this issue from August, which really goes to answer the question of what do our members want? How can we engage all generations and all paths to service as best as we can? Because we're all busy. And I tell you, if I didn't have a job to do, I could do this full time and still not find enough energy for getting the other things done that Christy, my CEO at home, wants. So that's recorded too, right? All right. Well, with that, thank you again for attending. We are adjourned.
Next time, you speak close to the microphone.
Thank you very much.